Hey guys, this is Dion here with Your Guitar Academy. In this lesson, we're going to be taking a look at the second half of that A section of this first piece. So in this video, we're also going to be continuing to look, at this down picking idea, but there's also a power chord shape that sneaks in as well. So grab your guitar and let's get going. If you just joined us, don't forget you can head over to the website to grab all the tabs, chord boxes, backing tracks, and anything else you need to do with the course, all completely free. And also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button and leave us a comment and we can have a chat. This second half of this A section sounds something like this. Okay, so you'll see it starts in the same way as the first bit, but then we add this kind of power chord movement in the second part. So once again, you just want to retain, that nice controlled movement for that first half. Just keeping that palm muting nice and tight, nice and precise. Obviously, we're now not going to that part that we had in the first section. So let's talk about what the power chords are doing here. All right, so you want to have a nice big slide into this, and just so you know, I'll take you through the power chord shape now as well in case you're not familiar with that. So if we go find the 6th fret with your first finger of the E string, and there's a couple of ways of playing power chord shapes. So some people like to use their 3rd finger, some people like to use their 4th. So you see here the note that we have to grab, we've got our 1st finger on the 6th fret of E. You have to grab that 8th fret on the A string. So it's kind of a 1 fret in between the two, and obviously the next string. So I tend to play them personally, often with my 1st and 4th finger, like this. But if you would prefer, 1st and 3rd is absolutely fine. Sometimes people like to play a 3-note power chord as well, where they get their 4th finger and put it on this 8th fret of D. We're not going to do that in this instance, we're just playing the 2-note version. Okay, so what you have to get used to here, this is where we're now breaking out of this down picking slightly, and we're going to use alternate picking. All right, so you want a big slide up to that 6th fret, okay, and then immediately pick the 8th fret. So I go down and an up pick, just like that. Okay, and it sounds better, I think, when you get that slide as opposed to just going like that. It's just a bit more interesting, I think. Then you have to quickly slide down to this note of F, which is the 1st fret on the E string, and we do the same thing. So like that, okay? And you can either separate the notes if you want, you can make it sound like, but I tend to hold both down at once, so it sounds more like a chord. So, like that. So in context with these drums at 55 BPM, it would sound like this. So let's try that once more. 2, 3, 4, and again. Okay, and just to talk a little bit briefly about theory, so we're utilising this note of F here, which is only a semitone away, okay, from our tonic. So we're in the key of E minor here. So when we move up a semitone and play any of these notes as F, it's called you can either call it a flattened second or a flattened 9. They technically mean the same thing, they're just an octave apart. But essentially, we're creating the sound of what's called the Phrygian scale, which is quite a kind of sort of menacing sound. It's just that semitone leading back to our tonic there that creates this slightly dark sort of tonality, which is what we're looking for. So that, in case you are wondering how we're getting this sound, that's a bit of the thinking behind it. It also featured, as you saw in that first part of the riff, that note there, that's an F, okay? So let's just hear the whole thing, the whole second part of this riff as one, including that first bit. And you can see how these power chords fit in. So again at 55, 3, 4, and. Once again. One more time. Okay, so now let's also hear that whole riff, including the first half of it from the first lesson, as one, and we can see how they work together. So 1, 2, 3. One more repeat. Great, so just one more thing as well to mention about the down picking. So if you watch my right hand on that, or also, you know, anytime I'm doing this picking, you'll see I've got my fingers kind of tucked in like that. And I mean, there's a few people like to play with their fingers out, and it's really just a kind of a preference thing. There is a certain school of thought. Some people think if you have your fingers out like this, you're expelling unnecessary energy. I'm not sure I entirely agree with that, because it just feels like more of a comfort thing. But what I would say is, you know, whatever feels comfortable for you to have your fingers tucked in or out like this, it's absolutely fine. I tend to just play with them tucked in like that because I just prefer the feel of it. In case you wanted to switch that up a little bit and really work on your kind of palm muted down picking, you might also want to try this whole riff entirely palm muted. So it would sound something like this. I think it sounds pretty cool like that. So yeah, it's worth a try. See how you get on with that, and I'll see you in the next video. So that's it for this lesson. So if you want to head back to the beginning of the course, you can click here. And if you want to go on to the next lesson, you can click here. So leave us a comment, guys, and we'll get back to all of your questions. We absolutely love hearing your feedback. It really helps us out.